now mine, this is now mine, and this is mine, and oh, what is this? Oh, it's the receipt from the war. 150 million pounds? Hey, you colonial! Yeah, you, what? You see, we have this massive war debt from the 7 Years' War, and, well, we're out of money now, and we spent a lot of this war protecting you from the French, so I'm not sure that I know what you're trying to get at here. Okay, we spent a lot of this money protecting you from the French and the Indians, right? Right. And now we have no money. That certainly is a pickle. Listen, we spent a lot of this money protecting you. Can you please pay us back some money? No. Okay, we are just gonna go ahead and tax you. The 7 Years' War ended with the Treaty of Paris in 1763 and the proclamation line that King George III said, "You shall not pass," and he sent a bunch of British soldiers over to protect them, and to fund all this, he needed to raise taxes. This left the colonists a bit cranky. Wars are expensive, and the British government had 150 million pounds of debt, and the colonies would pay for it.
I would say Mexico's going to pay for it.
No, it wasn't that out of nowhere and unreasonable. Since they spent all that money defending the colonies from Indians and expanding the colonies, the British government only felt that it was fair that some of the burden fell on them to pay for it. Taxes for the colonies were nothing new, but the American merchants have been easily avoiding these taxes via smuggling. Yeah, Americans have always had a rebellious spirit, but mostly the colonists were angry because they didn't have any say about the new taxes that Britain was imposing. The first oppressive tax, the Sugar Act of 1764, changed the tax on imports from the Caribbean from 6 cents per gallon all the way up to 3 cents per gallon. Wait, hold on. So they actually cut the tax, but they decided to start enforcing it by stamping out smuggling. But that act wasn't nearly as annoying as the Stamp Act passed in 1765. The Stamp Act declared that all printed material had to carry a stamp, and the stamp was not free. The colonists were like, oh, no, they didn't, until now the colonies had enjoyed relative freedom to rule themselves, and now suddenly Britain was asserting its control. In October, protesters organized themselves against the Stamp Act and decided to boycott British goods. This was the first major collective action by the colonies together. The colonies were starting to unite. So the British Parliament repealed the Stamp Act, but they did pass the Declaratory Act, which was like, we can do whatever we want because we are in charge, and you poor colonials don't know the first thing of civilized culture, let alone how to take care of yourselves, and you'll be lost without us. And because Great Britain still needed money, Charles Townshend got Parliament to pass the new taxes in 1767, so the Townshend Act created a new board to stop smuggling, which the colonists didn't like one bit. Would you like some glass? Well, there's a tax for that. How about some lead? There's a tax for that. Want paper? Tea? How about a deck of cards? You guessed it, there's a tax for that. Many colonists again got on board the boycott, with many women encouraging other women to make their own clothes instead of buying British-made ones. Anyone loyal to the British found themselves increasingly harassed. A secret organization will be formed called the Sons of Liberty, It was created in the 13 colonies to advance the rights of European colonists and fight taxation by the British government. Their leader was Samuel Adams. Yes, a beverage will be named after him, and he was cousin to future American President John Adams. The Sons of Liberty played a major role in most colonies in battling the Stamp Act. They were seen as heroes and patriots in the colonies, but their methods were less to be desired. British loyalists were sometimes tarred and feathered. It's a laughable concept to any fifth grader reading it in a history book, but seeing the act put into practice is anything but funny. Hot tar was poured on them, instantly burning the skin, sometimes down to the bone. Feathers were then thrown at them, sticking to the tar that was now hardening itself around their victim. If the tar covered the mouth and nose, it would have made it impossible to breathe, resulting in death. And removing the tar means removing their skin along with it. Overall, the boycotts and protests were effective, and the British merchants will push to repeal these acts, leaving only one tax: a tax on tea.
The king shows you his mercy. Is he in Jersey? For shame for the revolution. Repeat yourself again, I'm gonna scream. Honestly, look at me, please don't breathe. Not your interest. Don't modulate the key, then not debate with me. Why should a tiny island across the sea regulate the price of tea?